Curtis Rourke was back at the team facility on Friday. After watching him leave the stadium for the hospital because he was struggling to breathe, that detail brings relief, but it does not erase Thursday night's brutal message. A team with February ambitions cannot treat depth like a luxury. Faithful, lock in. Today we're finding out who truly strengthens this roster when a scare hits, when a dominant star lands on the radar, when a rookie demands room, and when an internal battle threatens to leave somebody behind. The 49ers must protect their players and attack opportunities without hesitation. If you demand that mindset, subscribe to 49ers Express. The first reaction has to be human. What a relief to see Curtis Rourke back in Santa Clara. He started the preseason game against the Tennessee Titans, exited in the second quarter, went into the blue medical tent, then headed to the locker room. The team announced a rib injury. Initial x-rays showed no fracture, but his trouble breathing demanded an immediate response. Kyle Shanahan explained that when an exam does not reveal the cause and a player still has a problem, the staff must investigate every possibility. Sending him to the hospital was not an overreaction. It was responsible. Rourke was discharged Thursday night and returned to the facility the next day. Both are encouraging, although the 49ers still have not provided an official update on his condition. So yes, feel relieved, but do not rush him into contact. A shot to the ribs affects breathing, torso rotation, and the way a player protects his own body. For a quarterback, that affects nearly every movement required to throw and survive inside the pocket. According to Shanahan, the injury likely happened on a designed run near the goal line. An aggressive but fair demand belongs here. The preseason exists to evaluate players, not waste them. That does not mean removing quarterback runs or automatically blaming the play call. It means matching the risk to the moment, especially in a QB3 competition where every rep already carries serious weight. Before leaving, Rourke had completed 12 of 14 passes for 101 yards and added 14 rushing yards on 3 carries. He was building a strong case against Adrian Martinez, who came in and finished the game. The job sits behind Brock Purdy and Mac Jones, but it is not decorative. A contender needs answers when a season tears up the original plan. The most important evaluation now will not be another efficient preseason series. It will be whether the 49ers can protect Rourke without freezing a competition he helped raise. If the first story demands protection, the second demands calculated aggression. NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reported that the San Francisco 49ers are among the teams that contacted the Tampa Bay Buccaneers about Vita Vea's availability. The Buffalo Bills and Chicago Bears also made calls. This does not put Vea on a plane to the Bay Area. Tampa still says internally it will not trade him. San Francisco calling still matters because it shows how much force this front office will pursue. Vea requested a trade in July after contract talks stalled. He has reported to training camp, but he is not practicing. He is entering the final year of his deal, with roughly $18 million scheduled for 2026 and none guaranteed. Vea believes he is worth more. The Buccaneers control the contract and are holding a hard line. This is a leverage fight, and the 49ers were right to test that door before another contender finds the key. But faithful, this is the part nobody should ignore. Vita Vea would not be another name in the rotation. He would change the geometry of this defense. With roughly 346 pounds of power in the middle, he commands double teams, compresses the pocket, and makes it harder for an opposing offense to treat every short yardage down like an automatic run up the gut. Put him next to Osa Odigizua, and the front gets lanes to attack instead of merely trying to survive. Alfred Collins remains a projected starter and deserves room to develop, but a team inside a championship window cannot confuse belief in potential with an obligation to reject proven impact. The production supports the weight of that idea. Vea played all 17 games last season, recording 34 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 13 quarterback hits, and 4.5 sacks. In 2024, he set a career high with 7 sacks. He has 35 across 8 seasons, plus the experience of serving as a central piece on Tampa Bay's 2020 championship team. That resume will not come cheap. There would be a trade price, a new extension, and a real financial impact. The strategic question is whether the advantage in January would justify the bill. Standing still inside the NFC West also carries a cost. Seattle enters as the defending Super Bowl champion, while the Rams carry enormous expectations into the next title race. If San Francisco believes this defense must become intimidating through the middle again, checking on Vea is a duty, not desperation. I would pressure Tampa without giving away the future. A reasonable pick, firm contract parameters, and no bidding war driven by anxiety. If the Buccaneers hold their position, the 49ers keep building with Odigizua and Collins. If that relationship deteriorates and the door opens, John Lynch must be standing in the first row. That is the difference between admiring a dominant piece and positioning yourself to land him. We move from an expensive possibility to an answer already wearing red and gold. Deon Stribbling, the 49ers' first selection in the 2026 draft, turned the first half against Tennessee into a statement. 7 catches, 63 yards before halftime. Calling it preseason does not make that performance disappear. According to Ryan Paganetti, Stribbling became only the second receiver in the past decade to record 7 catches within the first 20 minutes of a preseason game. The value is not collecting an unusual statistic. It is seeing how a rookie claims space inside an offense loaded with demands. Stribbling drew 8 targets and caught 7. There was 1 drop, an early missed block, and route running details that need refinement. Perfect? Not even close. But those issues can be coached. What is harder to manufacture is the calm to recover from a shaky opening and execute repeatedly when the football keeps finding you. Shanahan said the receiver struggled a little on the first drive, then executed what came his way over the next 3. He also praised his hands and his willingness to play physically. That combination is the passport to staying on the field in this offense. Kyle does not want a target who disappears when it is time to block. He wants receivers who can sell the run, sustain contact, and attack different areas without giving away the formation. That is why the decision not to lock Stribbling into the slot deserves attention. If he can align inside and outside, the offense gains freedom to move Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel, and the rookie himself without revealing the matchup it wants. Jauan Jennings leaving in free agency created a real loss of strength, reliability, and personality. Nobody needs to pretend one night replaces all of it. Stribbling is beginning to show that this group can rebuild that aggression through a different distribution of roles. My position is clear. The discussion over San Francisco trading down and selecting Stribbling in the second round should not be settled by 7 catches, but the easy mockery needs to end. Serious evaluation adjusts when a player grows. The kid answered when volume came his way, absorbed the early corrections, and produced. That is useful evidence, not a premature coronation. Continuity is the real opponent now. Stribbling missed several days of practice because of hamstring tightness and returned about a week ago. The 49ers have watched recent high picks lose valuable reps. Ricky Pearsall moved in and out of the lineup in 2024, while Michael Williams tore his ACL in Week 9 last season. Talent without availability does not build chemistry with Purdy or command of the system. Shanahan was direct when he said he hopes Stribbling can stack 2 more weeks like this. The coach believes that if the rookie maintains his approach and keeps piling up reps, he should be ready for the season. That is where the fan base should put its energy, not into a rushed comparison with stars, but into demanding that he turn flashes into a routine. The ceiling became visible, the hands showed up, the versatility started taking shape. If his body cooperates and the details keep advancing, this pick can go from a debated gamble to the kind of hit that extends a competitive window without wrecking the budget. Santa Clara does not need to cool the excitement. It needs to make sure that excitement survives until September. One rookie's rise changes the entire room. At linebacker, however, the consequence could be less comfortable. Fred Warner runs the unit, and Dre Greenlaw's return restores a starting duo that needs no introduction. Behind them, every snap is an audition. Nick Martin is fighting Tatum Bethune and Jaden Duggar for space, and now both appear to be ahead. There is no cruelty in that, there is roster math. The 49ers do not keep a backup linebacker simply because they like his potential. He must cover, attack gaps, diagnose play action, communicate adjustments, and justify a place on special teams. With 2 starting jobs protected by Warner and Greenlaw, everyone else survives through immediate usefulness. Martin is not fighting to beat a name. He is fighting to prove he provides a function this team would miss if cut. Jaden Duggar increased the pressure by earning opportunities with the starters in 5-man fronts. His size and speed let him crowd the line, threaten pressure, and react when tight ends move. Bethune also holds an advantage in this depth battle. Waiting for the hierarchy to rearrange itself would be Martin's worst response. He has to attack the next performances with clarity, less hesitation, finished tackles, and special team snaps that force the coaches to revisit their board. Greenlaw's return raises the ceiling of the defense, but it also raises the standard for making this roster. That is healthy for a contender. Real depth does not mean collecting similar players. It means keeping different answers for different opponents. One backup may survive because he can cover space, another because he can handle traffic inside, a third because he changes the field on special teams. If Martin does not define his value, getting cut stops looking like a surprise and starts looking like a consequence. Here is the community red alert. If you were building the 53-man roster today, which trait would help Martin jump Bethune or Duggar? Coverage, aggression against the run, or special teams? Give me an answer in the comments based on function, not your favorite name. I would not bury Martin before the next games. The preseason exists because one physical performance can flip the reps and change a coaching staff's confidence. But defending the 49ers also means rejecting roster spots awarded by inertia. Warner and Greenlaw set the standard at the ceiling. Whoever comes next has to keep it from collapsing when a starter leaves the field. Martin has an opportunity to answer. He no longer has room for another invisible night. The final pressure on this roster is not limited to the stars San Francisco might acquire. It also lives with the backups who must convince the team they deserve to stay. Today's message is uncomfortable for anyone who prefers to wait. Protection and aggression must coexist. Rourke deserves time and care. Vita Vea deserves a serious investigation. Stribbling deserves room to turn production into trust. Martin deserves the chance to answer, never an automatic roster spot. That is how San Francisco protects a season with real ambition. Care for the people without lowering the competitive standard. Faithful, let me know where you stand. If John Lynch could make only one move right now, which one would you choose to strengthen this roster? Own that decision in the comments, subscribe, and help build the daily debate at 49ers Express. The faithful will not watch this window close in silence.